Hey, chiropractors, welcome to Modern Chiropractic Mastery with your host, Dr. Kevin Christie, where we discuss the latest in marketing, business, and professional growth with some of the leading experts in the industry. Welcome to another episode of Modern Chiropractic Mastery. This is your host, Dr. Kevin Christie, and today I am bringing you 5 keys to good chiropractic business. This is a solo episode that I'm going to go over with you. There's probably other keys to a chiropractic practice, but I think these are very fundamental and cover a lot. There's probably subgroups with there, and I'll get into some of that. But as you know, this is a podcast, and we just try to give you as much information as possible, but can't give it to you all in one show. But it will be a solo episode. Before we dive into that, just a couple little housekeeping things. I hope I get to see you in Parker, Vegas. If you're there, I am speaking on Saturday, early afternoon, on modernizing your practice. So we're going to, a new topic. If you've seen me speak before, this will be a little different, where we're going to talk about modernizing your practice with marketing. And come say hi. If you attend, come up, say hi, ask me questions. If you see me at the, I don't know, in the expo center or having a drink or something like that, come say hello. I'd love to meet you, but I will be in Parker, Vegas on Friday and Saturday, and I will be speaking on Saturday. So hopefully to see you there. Also, cool little thing, Jay Greenstein and I are hosting a salon dinner on Friday night, and it's going to be 8 of us. We kind of selected a handful of chiropractors. And if you're not sure what a salon dinner is, it's where, they've been doing these for the history of time, maybe the last few hundred years or so, but they kind of went the way of the dinosaur, but they've kind of come back where it's an organized dinner where you have guided conversation on a particular topic. I mean, it could be politics or history or whatever, religion, but we're going to make ours obviously about chiropractic and really some of the things that we as a profession could do to really improve the lot that the evidence-based chiropractor has and have more thriving chiropractors. And so we kind of hand-selected some guests, and Jay and I are going to host that. And it'll be exciting. So it'll be the first time I've done it. I heard someone talk about doing that on the Tim Ferriss podcast, and so got that idea and asked Jay to co-host that with me. And so I'll let everybody know how that goes and the theme of it and how it worked out after we have that. Actually, this episode probably comes out the day before that we're in Vegas. So hopefully you listen to it and can meet me there. So next is we just got back from our first Mastermind West cohort, and that was in Phoenix, Arizona. What a great group. Started out with 11 of us this year. Back in 2022, when we started the East group, we had 14, and that went really well. And I think everybody of that particular year returned for the next year. So we went from 14 to 22. And then now in 2024, the East group is at its max of 25. I don't make it any bigger than 25 per group because I want it to be a true mastermind. There's people out there that say they host masterminds, but it's really more of a seminar or workshop or conference. And those are fine, obviously, but I think the essence of a true mastermind is where it's a smaller group and there's a lot of conversation and dialogue and everybody is contributing. It's not one person and it's not about me. It's not one person that's it's centered around the entire time. There's plenty of dialogue and working through things. We have certain things like hot seats and each one teach ones and all the fun stuff. But it was a great first weekend in the West because we had to launch a new group. Since we maxed out the East and we decided to do it geographically, and it was a full success. I mean, I got a lot of great feedback. Jay Greenstein was our guest presenter for that weekend, and it just went really, really well. Looking forward to the next 3 weekends we have for the West cohort, which will be in Denver in May, Jackson Hole in August, and we'll be in San Diego in November. Put 2025 on your radar. There's obviously some slots available for next year. If it trends like it did on the East group, they will fill up, and there are some requirements to join our group. But definitely look at that. You can go to modernchiropracticmarketing.com to get an idea of what the 2024 looked like, and then put it on your radar. Sometime in the early summer, I'll be reaching out and doing some personal invites to folks, but keep that on your radar for next year. Let's take a break from today's episode and announce our first sponsor. This is going to be Propel Marketing and Design. I've known Darcy Sullivan for years. We've worked hand in hand on my websites. I don't trust anybody else to do this search engine optimization. She does a great job. There's so much to it. A lot of the lingo and the words are beyond my comprehension, but it's just amazing work that she does. And if you're really going to get results with Google, you have to make sure your website is SEO optimized. And I really don't want you doing it yourself as a chiropractor. So you just have to have this type of stuff done. And if you're looking to get more organic online traffic that pulls in new patients, Propel Marketing and Design is currently offering chiropractors who listen to this podcast a free SEO website review. The free review will help you uncover methods that will improve your website and boost your search engine visibility. Head over to propelyourcompany.com/chiropractor and schedule your free SEO website review. You won't regret it. She gets great results. Your website needs this. Your search results need this. Head on over there to propelyourcompany.com/chiropractor to get your free SEO website review. All right. So what is good chiropractic business? I want to first kind of give a couple traits I think that really help to develop to then be able to do the next 5 things. And one is leadership, and the other is a growth mindset. As I mentioned, we had Jay Greenstein present at our West Mastermind about his chiropractic entrepreneur framework, and a couple of the key variables were mindset and then also people and process. And ultimately, when we talked about mindset, we dove into growth mindset, and you have to have that to really have a good chiropractic business, because you're not going to graduate knowing all those things. And so you first have to really focus on a growth mindset. And if you do have that, you're going to improve your leadership skills, and you're going to need to do that as well to be able to do these next 5 things. And so I'm a big proponent in improving your leadership, and also, in having that growth mindset, and realize that you're going to be able to do things or develop things in the future as you get better that you may not have the capabilities now. Because a lot of you are like, I can't imagine having a team of 10 in my practice. It just doesn't, I can't handle that. I don't know how to handle that. Well, that's a fixed mindset. And so you really need to come at these next 5 things with the fact that you need a growth mindset. You need to have leadership skills. If you're lacking in leadership skills, you can improve leadership. It's a slow and methodical process, but you can get better at it. And so I wanted to just start out with that as the context for these next 5 things, because if you think you're struggling with them, or your particular situation, your practice is not well, it doesn't have to be like that. And if you can provide good leadership to your patients, to your team, to your family, and have a growth mindset, you can improve these. All right, so number 1, I want you to understand that patient outcomes is the key driver for good chiropractic business. It's not the only thing. We know a lot of chiropractors that have great businesses and their patient outcomes suck. But as an evidence-based, evidence-informed chiropractor and our audience, we want everything to be centered around patient outcomes, and then everything else flows from there. So when you hear me talk about finances and marketing and communication and report of findings and this, like, it's all with the, or like patient adherence, right? Like you talk about, having effective treatment plan, frequency and duration, and then ultimately making sure that patients adhere to that. It's because we need great patient outcomes. And the evidence shows that proper treatment planning is going to improve outcomes. If you're underdosing your treatments, you're not going to get the same outcomes. If you're having problems with patient adherence, you're going to have outcome problems. So you need to have good patient outcomes, and you need to do the things that are going to get that. And that's going to definitely keep on getting better clinically. So keep doing that. I'm not going to, dive into that right now, but like that's the table stakes. Like keep getting better clinically, get efficient clinically. And that's going to help your outcomes. But also your communication with the patient is going to help their outcomes. Your team making sure that they adhere to their treatment plan is going to improve outcomes. Having, you know, better, being able to afford better equipment might improve patient outcomes, right? There's a lot of things that go to that. So I just wanted to make sure, like, that's number one, right? That's the first step. That's the big domino. It's patient outcomes. There's certain things that fall underneath that. Everything else flows from that, right? Let's take a short break for one of our great sponsors, TrackStat. It is a new type of software plugin for your EHR that combines patient communication, marketing, automation, and statistics with patient and employee tracking. Built by chiropractors for chiropractors, it shows your team what to focus on each day. See patient visit habits, missing information, unpaid bills, insurance collection visit average, and more. Great visibility of data so you can focus on filling your office with your best patients. When you can see what your staff and patients are doing or not doing and take action accordingly, your profits naturally grow. Take TrackStat for a test drive in your office with our free trial. Not a techie? No problem. We can help. To get started on your free trial, visit trackstat.org and watch the demo. That is trackstat.org. And the next one, number two on this list, is the patient experience. And I'm not going to lump in the clinical into that. It definitely is, right? And so that's, again, table stakes. The patient could be really excited about your nice new office, your friendly staff, your good looks, all those things. But if they don't get the outcome, obviously the patient experience isn't going to be there. So, as I talk about this particular aspect of patient experience, let's put away the clinical just for right now. And so, the patient experience is going to be things like, how friendly is your staff? How nice is your office? Do you have a team around you? Do you communicate effectively with that patient? Do you have a new patient tour, maybe? Do you send a welcome letter to them? Do they get a birthday text or card in the mail? Do you send thank you letters when they refer to you, right? All those things that are going to improve the patient experience. It needs to be a remarkable experience for them and obviously getting good clinical outcomes. But you got to start getting better with the patient experience. And that really is a fundamental thing for good chiropractic business because so many people think you have to be a shark or a snake to be good at business in chiropractic, like doctors can't be good at business. And fundamentally, being good at business as a doctor is providing the ultimate in patient experience and obviously outcomes. And so those two things are so huge, in my opinion, on what good chiropractic business is. So if you wanted to say, you know what, I want to get good at chiropractic business, keep good at clinical, and then try to be an exceptional place for that patient to go to, right? It's good music, it's good energy. You go to a restaurant and there's two people sitting in there and it's got like a bad lighting and it's just got no energy. The food could be good, but it's just kind of like, why isn't there anybody here, right? Um, when you go to a nice practice that's busy but not crazy, but got people in there and there's a team and they could just tell there's good music and good lighting and good energy in there. That makes a big difference to the patient experience, and that's going to grow your practice. So you really got to tackle that. That's something we tackle with our coaching clients all the time. Number three is team culture. And frankly, if your team culture is bad, the patient experience is probably not going to be good. So team culture is going to feed that. But you also need to make sure that everybody gets along and there's just I'm not going to necessarily dive into all the strategies of what a team culture is, but you kind of know when you have bad culture. One of the things that we discussed in our mastermind in Phoenix was the 9 box, which is an XY axis. And on one is going to be your employees or team members' values, and the other one's going to be performance. And you would grade them A, B, and C for each. And so you might have an employee that is A on performance, but a C on values. That's going to erode the culture of the team, right? You might have someone that's A values and kind of a B, C, say clinically on performance, but they're new, right? They're a recent graduate. and they've got the capabilities. You got to coach them up, right? But the killer for a team culture is when you get people with the values that are in that B and C, and that you can't get them to become an A player from a value standpoint. You got to get them off your team, even if they're performing well. All right. So you got to protect that team culture. That's going to be the third key to a really good chiropractic business. Okay. Let's take a short break from our episode and let me tell you about this awesome company I personally use in my clinic, and that is ChiroUp. ChiroUp isn't your average online platform. It's the brainchild of chiropractors Doctors Tim Bertelsmann and Brandon Steele, and it has grown to a community over 3,000 of the best chiropractors in the world. I've actually worked with these guys before, and let me tell you, they're the real deal. ChiroUp is a goldmine of protocols from over 120 conditions we deal with every day, all neatly packed into one online hub. Why does this matter? Because not only are you able to diagnose smarter and faster, but you can also get this information into the hands of your patients in just 4 clicks. And they're 100% backed by evidence. How cool is that? But here's what really got me hooked. ChiroUp is all about stepping up the game in chiropractic care. I'm all for that, and I know you are too, because you're listening to this podcast. Seriously, if you haven't checked them out yet, drop everything and head to chiroup.com/Christy. That's CHIROUP/CHRISTIE.com. You'll be able to set up a free 14-day account with no payment information needed. Once you see what's in there and fall in love with it, use the code Christy15 to save some cash. Start now and you'll thank me later. Trust me on this one. This code is valid for new subscribers only. Number 4 is financial literacy. Really understanding business finances is going to be so important to you. There are certain scenarios where certain chiropractic practices are just money's coming in hand over fist and it covers up bad fundamentals of finances. But as you know, most chiropractic practices are operating on lower profit margins. So it's going to be very important to understand practice finances. That's something that we talk so much about in our coaching and also in our mastermind. We're actually doing part of the 2024 mastermind group. We're doing 3 supplemental Zoom calls. We have one coming up in February now with Greg Crabtree, who's been on my podcast talking about his business fundamentals and his framework. And so you need to have a framework. I know Holly Tucker does great with the profit first model for chiropractors. We've got our kind of own financial framework that we teach chiropractors. Greg Crabtree has his. And ultimately, if you can get really good at that, it's going to help you with smart kind of scaling to really, grow your practice in a way that's going to, the term scaling gets thrown around. It becomes a cliche, but you do want to scale for future preservation and ultimately your enhanced culture, right? Like, I think too many chiropractors struggle with finances and they never build a team around them because of it. And they end up doing everything for forever, right? Like they're 45 years old, and they're still doing all the stuff and they have no help and they get burned out. The chiropractors that I've seen do well over time have put a team around them, and it takes smart scaling to do that and understanding kind of your hourly capacity and revenue and profit margins. But ultimately, they're able to delegate a lot of the things they don't like doing, and they're going to work every day doing the things they love doing. That's that strategic coach's unique ability. And so you really have to get clear on your financial literacy so that you can scale smart and be able to hire a great team and pay them well. So you get great culture and great patient experience and great patient outcomes, right? A lot of that is dependent on that. And then obviously for your future preservation by being able to offload things you don't like doing anymore, right? You may love doing rehab right now at 28 years old. Are you going to love getting on the ground and doing rehab at 48 years old with a patient for 30 minutes? I'm not sure about that. You may, but I'm not sure. That's why you need to be able to afford to hire someone to do the rehab for you so that you can maximize your license and do exam and functional assessments and the manipulation and whatever else. But that's just one example, right? I don't want to do my billing and bookkeeping and I don't do hardly anything in the practice as far as I provide leadership, I provide patient care and pay the bills and things of that nature. But there's a lot of things that I just don't do anymore. And it took a level of profit margin to reinvest into the business to grow that. All right, number 5 is marketing. You do have to have effective marketing. Now, there are going to be some outliers that just have a huge busy practice and it's all referral based, and that's awesome. But typically what I find where that kind of hits a roadblock is when you try to hire associates and basically get them busier. It typically will take a level of marketing to do that. And it's got to be elegant marketing, not the cheesy stuff. And obviously that's kind of our bread and butter, is teaching content marketing and how to position yourself as an expert and ultimately drive in business to the practice. That's kind of a flywheel effect. So it's not so reliant on you going and really dragging people into the office and such, but it's just like you just feel confident every month you've got 40 new patients and you got all these reactivations because people are seeing your content, and you're essentially, the way I try to look at it for my practice is I want to be a leading educator in the community. And that's my goal. That's my goal with content marketing. That's kind of was my goal when I started this podcast 7 years ago, right? It was just like, I wanted to be a leading educator in the evidence-based chiropractic profession on all things practice growth. And I'm not sure if I'm there yet or not, but that was my goal at least. And that's why I produce an episode like this every week, is to become a leading educator in the chiropractic community around this information. And I want you to do the same thing in your practice, in your community, right? Is become a leading educator. And that's going to be really good marketing. Then you can do all the campaigns and tactics and strategies outside of that. But think of yourself as a leading educator, build content around that, and you'll really build a good practice. And I think that rounds out 5 key aspects of what good chiropractic business is. It's patient outcomes, it's patient experience, team culture, financial literacy, and marketing. I'm sure there's others. I'm sure you could talk about communication, right? We could probably layer that into leadership and other ones, but those are the 5 I wanted to chat about today. It doesn't have to mean that you are a shark or a snake and you're doing things that are, bad. You're doing everything for the money. It doesn't have to be that way. It's such a misconception. We preach that we are patient-centered. What I just talked about today is a patient-centered approach. You're not giving recommendations based on money. You're giving recommendations based on outcomes, and the money will flow from there, and your life will be a whole lot better. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, stop and say hi if you see me at Parker Vegas. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And if you want to make the shift from busy, broke, and broken to time-free and cash confident, or you just want to continue with the exponential growth, check us out at modernchiropracticmarketing.com. Look at the MCM Mastery tab, watch the short video on there, and check out what we are doing now for evidence-informed chiropractors. We are equal parts coaching and marketing done for you. Yes, you shoot some videos, we help you with campaign strategies and ideas and really become a thought leader in your community. You shoot those videos, you send them to us, we produce, edit, and brand them to you. Then we distribute them through all of your channels. We also take them and we turn it into one good blog per month. And every other month, we have Darcy Sullivan producing a robust blog with a topic that you pick from her database to help with your SEO. So we essentially become your content marketing agency to make sure your practice is always having ethical, elegant content marketing to help grow your practice. On the coaching side, we also help you with everything from marketing ideas to business, communications, finances, anything practice growth, and really try to help prevent you from being stuck on that island. And we hold you accountable. We have a great group of doctors that are just doing amazing things, and we look forward to help you out to take that next step in your practice. So again, check us out at modernchiropracticmarketing.com and learn more.